Microsoft just dropped its February 2026 Patch Tuesday updates, and this one's not optional. Microsoft says 6 zero-day vulnerabilities were already being exploited in the wild before the patches became available. According to Bleeping Computer, the updates cover dozens of flaws overall, but the headline is those 6 active exploits. The exploited bugs include multiple security feature bypass issues, plus privilege escalation flaws that help attackers go from a normal user to full system. The CVEs called out as actively exploited include Windows Shell and MS HTML bypasses, a Microsoft Word security feature bypass, a desktop Windows Manager elevation of privilege, a remote access connection manager denial of service, and a remote desktop services elevation of privilege. So you want me to translate all that for you? Well, basically, TLDR, this is the kind of patch set that turns a phishing click into a real compromise. So if you run Windows in an enterprise, prioritize the endpoints that browse the web, open Office documents, or have remote desktop exposure, and get those updates deployed as soon as possible. And for us regular at-home users, you got to do the boring thing today, okay? Hit Windows Update, reboot, and make sure it actually finishes. Attackers move the fastest right after Patch Tuesday because they know exactly what got fixed. Moving on to our next story. If you think phone spyware is rare and exotic, well, here's a reality check. A commercial spyware kit called ZeroDayRat is being advertised to criminals on Telegram, and it's being pitched as a full remote control for both Android and iOS devices. Yeah, Bleeping Computer reports the operator panel shows details like device model, OS version, SIM card info, battery status, and location. And it supports both passive monitoring and hands-on actions. That includes tracking app usage, reading notifications, pulling registered accounts, and if permissions are granted, turning on the camera and microphone, plus recording of the screen. One of the nastiest parts is the OTP theft. If the malware gets SMS access, it can capture one-time codes and help attackers bypass two-factor authentication. Now, researchers also found crypto and banking theft modules, including wallet scanning for apps like MetaMask and Trust Wallet, plus tricks like clipboard address swapping and fake login overlays. This is basically a complete mobile compromise toolkit, and a single infected employee phone can become an entry point into a company. The practical defense here is, again, boring, but still really, really effective. Only install apps from official stores. Keep your OS updated, and if you're high risk, you might want to consider iOS lockdown mode or Android advanced protection. All right, our last story of the day. A major pig butchering scam just got its courtroom headline. And sure, it sounds impressive. Darren Lee, a dual citizen of China and St. Kitts and Nevis, was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for his role in a global crypto investment scheme that stole more than $73 million. But don't start cheering yet. Lee isn't even in custody. He pleaded guilty and then cut off his ankle monitor back in December and vanished. The sentencing happened in absentia, meaning a judge handed down 2 decades to an empty chair. So what exactly did this accomplish here? Well, there's a headline and there's a sentence, and then somewhere Darren Lee is not in a prison cell. Call me cynical, but sentencing a fugitive feels less like justice and more just like paperwork. It's much ado about nothing when the guy you're sentencing has already ghosted the entire legal system. None of this diminishes the severity of what happened, though. Pig butchering scams are devastating. They typically start with a friendly message on a dating app or social media, followed by weeks of calculated trust building, then a push to a fake investment platform where victims' money just vanishes. In Lee's case, the DOJ says he and his cronies laundered stolen funds through U.S. banks tied to shell companies, then layered the money through additional accounts and crypto mixing platforms to obscure the trail. The FBI's latest internet crime report shows investment fraud is a massive problem with billions lost in a single year. And that's exactly why the empty chair sentencing really stings. Victims lost real money, life-changing amounts of money, and the system's big moment is a sentence with no one to serve it. So yeah, until Lee is actually caught, this is security theater. In the meantime, the advice will always stay the same. If someone you've never met is nudging you to move your money into crypto, that's not a relationship. It's a pipeline to theft. Slow down, verify identities, and never send funds to a platform you can't independently confirm. With that said, this wraps up today's stories. This is Andy Thompson signing off.